In a far-off distant galaxy, across the endless span of the universe, a solar system has been churning in its own gravity for thousands of millennia. It has been unseen by human eye or machine until now. The star of the solar system, Sun MMX, CMX, CIX, CMX, CIX, is the gravitational center of 25 celestial bodies, 16 planets and 9 moons. Scion 1, Okara, Theo, Atania, Saturn Q7CV, Kike, Tharth G9, Grade 7, Celev 1, 2, and 3, Michaelis, Valian, Silvora, Vetus 7, Diaphanous, Phora 50C, Neri 48, Dadrils, Photon 10, Bronsnorth, Kypso, Strigua X, Zachor, and Isides. While I was working on Canva to make this thumbnail, I ran across this artist called Sketchify. Particularly, I found this watercolor planet collection. They're so pleasing to look at because of the texture of the paint that was confined inside a perfect circle. Anyway, when I found them, I was sitting all alone in front of my computer just oohing and awing to myself for quite a while. Then I was like, I need to make these. That brings me back to Earth, quite literally, with watercolor. The plan is to paint a bunch of random colorful splotches on these strips of watercolor paper, and then cut them out into perfect circles. It's going to be really satisfying. I ended up doing a lot more than just that and went full out with an entire universe of details. Again, literally. The first sheet I did was an explosion of color, lots of blues, pinks, yellows, greens, and I didn't actually consider it the best that I've done because of the haphazard way I threw the paint on the paper. For the next page, I tried to be more careful, and I laid down a base coat of the main color theme. For example, I laid down just solid green, and then I went in and flushed it out in a second pass. For the green planet, it would be a little bit of yellow and a little bit more blue. The third sheet, I wanted to make the planets on the third sheet much more realistic, so I used a lot of grays and browns to muddle up the oranges and blues and reds. Also, I worked on size variation, and I ended up with a lot of medium-sized planets, 1 mega planet, 3 really small moons. I also fixed them all up with more color depth and variation when they dried completely, which meant I re-wet the entire planet so I could work more color in. This is also when I started thinking about how I wanted to display my planets, and I chose to paint several pages of my sketchbook with blue, black, and gray acrylic paint so that these celestial chunks of rock would have a nice sky to be in. I got really messy. I made the pages really messy as well, but I cleaned them up. Unfortunately, I think I lost the footage. The best way to get a perfect circle is using a compass, and I wanted this circle on the back of the watercolor paper, like on the back of the splotch, so I didn't have to erase the excess graphite from the watercolor itself. I was doing my future self a favor by not having to erase. You see me holding the compass, but I'm only using the pencil part of the compass after I discovered it's not a good idea to put the pointy part of the compass onto the face of my light pad. It took a little experimenting to get an effective and non-destructive system down, and I settled with tracing the outline of the splotch on the back of the paper using a light pad. I did this outlining so that I would know how much real estate my circle would have, so then after that I fit the circle inside the splotch line, and that worked pretty well. I'm not going to say my scissor skills are the worst or my scissor skills are the best, but cutting slowly, starting at the base of the blades and avoiding choppy little snips, Now it's time to pay some attention to the acrylic representation of the universe, which I promptly squeezed oil-based paint all over as I was trying to decorate with stars. You have to prime this thing by popping the tip up and down on a separate piece of paper, but it looks like I also decided to save some time and prime it right on my project. Then the composition part. Don't be freaked out. Composition scares me too, especially when people are talking about balancing this corner of the paper and matching the colors. I ended up just lining them up on a curve by size to kind of fake a perspective. I was wondering if the solar system look would be a good way to go, but I guess I thought it was too science booky because I changed my mind. First, I sorted them by color. All the browns and the yellows would go together, the blues together, so on. Maybe to give myself a good feeling of what kind of planets I have, and I wanted to make sure that the colors would be evenly distributed across the pages. So it took a little bit of fiddling, also just because you just want to go with what your eye likes the best, but I ended up trying to put, especially on that first page, one representative of each color group on there, with a proper mix of moons for 2 planets. So some planets don't have moons, some planets have 2 moons. I ended up getting a composition that I liked. On suggestion, I picked 2 planets to give a ring of gas, dust, and ice. Incidentally, 2 pink or mauve planets were on my radar to get the silver pen treatment. Perhaps I thought they weren't interesting enough on their own. Then I used the same metallic silver pen to put some definition on some of the stars. The key here is not overdoing it. Quit while you're ahead. Now that all the planets are taped into their acrylic sky, it's time to name them. I'm using this fantasynamegenerators.com, which, as far as I know, is a 100% human staff, which means 0% AI. I like to think of this as rummaging through someone else's brainstorm list. So here we are with the planet names. These look really cool. Okay, so I like Kaik K. Sotrun, I like that one. Oh, grade 7, I like that. Vedas, 77K. This one's pretty cool. Okero. So I butchered this list of names, trying to change them to see what I like best, and I came up with a couple of things. So I'm gonna also start passing them out. So I suppose I'm not sure how I'm gonna name them other than getting a sticky note. I found these sticky notes. Pink, orange, whoa. Scion 120. A Scion, no, that's a Psychon. Like a Scion. That's like a offshoot or something, like a branch, I think. So I'm gonna go with this one. So this is Scion 01. That's a 1. Okay, and how about its moon? We want to pick something also a little moon-like. And I would like to go with sea live, just because moons usually support mares, which are seas, but I think sea live should go to a blue or green planet. I think I'm gonna go with changing this one right here to Okara, maybe with 2 R's. And I'm gonna go with that one for this little yellow and red moon. Okara. Now that the names are assigned, I'm going to write them in next to each planet using this jelly roll. The graphite has a great contrast with the acrylic, so I can see it. Hopefully I'll be able to erase all these pencil lines and not smudge the jelly roll. I didn't test this beforehand, and I have no clue what I'm going to do to it or what it's going to do to me. I also erased the graphite lines when I was sure the jelly roll dried. I was pleasantly surprised at the lack of smearing. Some of the ink did fade a bit, and I just freshened it up and that did the trick. After I fixed up the bad paint job, I also wanted to help this blank page. It took quite a bit of black acrylic when I closed the pages. I considered patiently painting and repainting white acrylic until I had whitewashed it all out, but I got a better idea. I can always find beautiful scrap paper books around the house, and I picked this gray slate design and because it kind of resembled stars or dust and clouds in the galaxy, and I wanted to print on it. This is my final step into immersive world building after I wrote out the story of this galaxy far, far away.
Stars in the sky. The stars. We might be near the end, deep in the night.
More fascinating than the planet's unique atmospheric appearances and terrain textures is the fact that some, if not all, support life. Are they bipeds? Do they possess spoken language? Are they humanoids? Can they survive in environments toxic to humans? How technologically advanced are they? Can they leave their solar system? Fly among the stars? Can they visit Earth? Or are they like us, locked within their own solar system due to the limitations of technology, doomed to watch the universe and never touch it? Can they see us?